interesting. Very interesting here. Brute Force popping some shots downrange. That's what got him in trouble in the first place. So Brute Force needs to calm down a little bit. It's too early to get into an engagement. If you see an obvious player where you know you can get that knock and thirst, yeah, take those shots. If not, just hurry up and wait, because if you do get into a fight in Sandhawk with this type of zone, the chances of both of you getting third party are just so high.
Let's talk about something you said earlier, right, with Brute Force. And you're talking about you can't be making an over-aggressive play unless you know you can get the knock and flush. Brute Force, right? Neos early on. Something that you said before when you were talking to them earlier today was that they felt like they were just making these mistakes. And that's just happened again. This is not good news for Brute Force fans.
Not good at all, yeah, especially considering that I think they are the lowest performing team in Group Red. Right, so yeah, they're gonna have to really give it all they got today if they want to make sure that they're in that top 12. And the problem with that is when you have a rough day one, every team tomorrow knows exactly how many points they need to pass you up. Right? Absolutely. So if you're Brute Force, you cannot afford any mistakes. Losing a player early on is going to hurt. But we can watch D plus Kia. Like I said, if they don't get that circle, it's a tough time to get into this zone, and that's exactly what's happening. Talent Esports is staring right at them and just trying to make their lives miserable.
D plus Kia having already lost a player as well. They're trying to move over this north bridge. I'm not entirely sure that this was the right call to make. At the moment, Vampire actually have made a slightly better rotation over the trifecta compound. I feel like D plus Kia had the option to even swim across over towards boot camp, which in general, you know, if you have that scouting, which they should have done, being on that high ground, is a fairly simple rotation. It's definitely going to be in the playbook. You could even have moved south past that trifecta. Of course, getting taken down. They try it on, and DX Xavier rolls straight on through them. Really strong stuff. I'm not entirely sure how that one started. I think DX Xavier moved down south towards Brute Force, but either way, another poor performance from Brute Force is now on the books.
Terrible performance right there. Brute Force, not what they were hoping for at all. So they're going to have to make it up here, and that's, I think they, like I said earlier, I think they punched out all their bad games yesterday, so they can't just have good games here today. They have to have incredible ones if they want to make it. But we're seeing Team Falcons and Team Reject go at it. That is a huge fight. Action getting knocked down. It's going to be a close one right here. So we'll see what ends up happening with that, as we're also seeing Talon take out D plus Kia.
Yeah, they are continuing that pressure on the North Bridge rotation. On the northwest side of the central area of teams, this is where the fight between Reject and Falcons is happening. As we jump on board with it, you can see Falcons, all four of them alive, but East gets knocked, meaning there's two on the floor here, two in the dirt. One player already fully flushed. Divine for Reject is out of it. So 3 players active for Reject. These reses need to come through from Falcons to maintain pressure forwards. Icy starting to bleed out, but does get res, so they're back up to 3. East not in just yet, but Action has the nade in hand. In comes the Reject roll. They look at a move downhill now, slowing the res. They are still as 3, but Sara's down in the backline, meaning it's only 2 players up for Reject. They're up and in the face of Falcons right now, and Falcons gonna give ground, gonna bide their time. They don't need to put too much pressure on. Ragey around the side, cannot find the shots. It's all on Duello, and he falls flat in the face of Falcons.
And that is Team Reject on early. At the third party, like I said earlier, if you get into an engagement early on, you're going to be in big trouble. So let's see if Team Falcons can hold on.
Falcons trying to pick the pieces back up. There is an interesting thing that's happening on the north side that I'll touch on later as well. But in the meantime, Falcons just getting run over, and this is Sandhawk all over third parties. And for MV, just making mincemeat right now of Falcons. One player now standing in their way. Action, the last to have something to say about this one. Apex cooking the nade. Down it goes, and over the top. Doesn't get the knock. Action with the DBS, but it's not going to matter. I was talking about something that was happening in the north. That was Tianba moving over from that Tapmock cow engagement and taking on Talon on the bridge guard, right? Talon and D plus Kia both now on one player.
Unbelievable. You know, these teams did their homework, and they did it so well. Tiamba had to know that, hey, D plus Kia, we know where they're coming from. And not to mention, we want first place. We want to make it happen. So if we can make D plus Kia's time just a little bit more difficult, that is how you do it right there. But the big thing is the zone has now shifted even further to the east.
Absolutely. You've got some really strong positions out on the east side as well. You've got Alliance, and you've got Ula XIHC. Ula XIHC, first day for for them, remember? And if they can start things off with a good game here on Sandhawk, it would be brilliant. Out on the east side, they've got two really strong positions. At the moment, I think TJB are going to be under the most pressure as the circle shifts out to this east.
Yes, they are. So let's see what they're going to be able to do here. Mad Bulls on the rotation now, coming in for the first time here in this tournament. Group Green on the move. So let's see how they're going to be able to make it happen in Sandhawk. They have a very open rotation here, so they should be able to make it through Bond. And it's very typical of a circle like this. Anytime you have a hard shift, you see a lot of teams just hug that zone, go all the way to the hard shift side, and it looks like that will work out from them. Meanwhile, I mean, these teams are practically stacked on top of each other. They are so close, just waiting for that next zone.
What's really interesting about this zone is that the whole of the west side of it is kind of covered by quarry, right? And what this does is that any team that's approaching from the west, and obviously you were talking about those wide swings, I think this is going to exacerbate that. If you're trying to move in from the west, it really linearizes your approach, right? Normally, you're worried about 120 degrees.
That's right.
Also on your back, right? But here, you can really look at these narrow alleys. You've got essentially discrete approach points as opposed to having a continuous approach from behind. So the teams out on the west, they can rely on quarry for cover, but it also means that they have very direct and fast approaches towards their position.
That's right. You're going to have teams surrounding you or encapsulating you like pretty much from all around. So you got to be able to have your head on a swivel, and you got to pick your fights perfectly. Now we're going to watch Tianba. They did disrupt Deep Kia. They got 4 eliminations so far, and they are still in the blue zone. This is stage 3. It's starting to hurt a little bit, but it looks like they're going all the way around this shoreline towards the edge. But now we're starting to see teams get a little bit antsy here. When you're at this stage, too much time, you feel like you got to start moving, and TJB is looking to try to pick off some of these Vampire players. Maybe not. Second thoughts.
Vampire trying to push in around the south side of quarry. They have been moving across for quite a while now. They tried to move up towards TJB's position, but it was Besiktas Black who were able to take the shots and stop them from doing that. Vampire now on 3 players, but they have got their foot in the door, right? They are right back towards that quarry, and this is a pretty interesting shift, actually. It keeps a lot of those teams already in.
Yes, so it's a perfect zone for so many of these squads. Even Vampire, they're going to be able to move or just inch their way in little by little. Besiktas Black are still out of this one, though. They got to get moving here. Not to mention Tianba, they've been in the blue zone for majority of this game. Now they're going to start making their way in, and it looks like they're going to have to get through Mad Bulls first.
Yeah, potentially a little bit of an obstacle, that wide swing from Mad Bulls. But if they can find Tulika on his own,
it's a tough shot.
They need to get that spray to be able to really slow the Mad Bulls down, but it was just a scout. They will come across each other. They'll know that there's now a team on their border, on the west side of their approach towards the circle as they move down south, which means that they're going to be more wary of that. It is still going to be a very tricky approach because you've got Alliance and Ula X IHC over on that eastern side. They are right now sandwiched up to the edge of the circle, which reduces the power of those compounds.
Yeah, Tiamba's in trouble here. I don't think they should have made those shots at all. You don't want to be bringing any attention to you. Mad Bulls are going to be staring in that direction. Tiamba's going to have to make a little bit of a blind rotation, and there are so many squads waiting for you. You got teams like Alliance right there. So if you're Tiamba, right now you're just kind of waiting. You're waiting to see if a fight's going to go off, and then hopefully come and third party that and make your way into the zone. So Tiamba have to be very, very quiet here and catch that timing perfectly. Meanwhile, Vampire Esports, getting pressured from Besiktas Black. That's Tony K knocked. That's only 2 remaining players left up for Vampire.
That is unfortunate. Tony K, a powerhouse in the roster as well. Besiktas Black have been making life difficult, and it will continue to be even tougher. Newsy goes down to a nade, and it's just stoned now. Newly minted, at the start of this year, freshly minted IGL to try and hold them together. There's a Molotov sent back their way, but Besiktas seem unstoppable in this roll-up. Newsy flushed away. That goes to TJB. They'll be able to pick that one up. Tony K's point, though, does go to Besiktas Black. Stone burning now in the Molotov, forced off the rock, forced back, needs to get some healing done. Anything that he can. Using the Shag for cover, Toshpik moves on up, goes for the ground shots, hasn't even got that heal through. He goes for the challenge, falling back, and again, relying on TJB to slow Besiktas down, and he does just that. Longs with the shot to Toshpik, and that slows it down indeed.
Stone surviving for just a little bit longer here, but Sheik Does Black is on the hunt. They know just how scary Vampire Esports can be. If you can take them out early, that is what you want to do, especially considering that Sheik Does Black did play yesterday. So you want to stop some of these teams.
Tiamba out on the eastern side, rolled up to Alola XIHC, and it's not gone too well. 2 knocks have already gone through. They haven't found anything in response. These flushes are starting to come through. So Tiamba with some good third parties to start off with, but it's not going to go too much further. They do get a little bit of an answer. They're looking at sprays, and XC might be able to get a little bit more profit on this match. They've got 7 limbs already. If they can take more out of Alola XIHC, then they can start to say that this has been a very successful game for them. But even more importantly is another team on the east starts to get lower and lower and lower. It looked like they were going for a full hold, but now it's just down to Zhou.
Oh boy, you talked about that average a little bit earlier. Tiamba have already passed it with 7 eliminations, so a great start for them. Let's just see how much further they can go. Now TJB, they have the main compound in this zone. They are dead center. Let's just see how many points they're going to be able to end up with at the end of this game.
I'm also looking at Alliance, right? They've had a pretty calm start, but now they need to start to frag out. There are only 3 players, though, on this northeastern side. It's been pretty brutal for the majority of our rosters. Only 3 teams with 4 players alive. TJB is one of them. 4MV out on that north side have a lot to fight through, so we'll be tracking them pretty hard right now. And you can see we're on board with Doc himself with that magic arm of his. Those nades seem to always find their mark. Another Molotov, and I don't think the Mad Bulls are going to be able to weather this one, but there's an off-angle shot coming through from DX Xavier.
DX Xavier did great yesterday. They're looking to continue that here. That's his talent out of there. Only 10 teams remaining, and folks, if you go out right now, that is 0 placement points. The pressure is starting to rise. Mad Bulls putting some shots from the blue zone. Their final remaining player, is he going to be able to get the knock? Close!
And he goes down to an off angle there as well. 4MV taken off the map, as does the player out to the north for Mad Bulls. Alliance remaining with 3. DX Xavier with 3. Team Liquid with 4 on this northern side. It is going to be a bloodbath, but importantly, TJB have lost a player as well in the middle.
Oh boy, and now the zone centers up again on TJB. So TJB did lose 1. They have 7 eliminations so far, so a great game for them, but all eyes are on their spot. Let's see if they can hold it down. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, the champions here from PMSL Americas, Ayala, starting to throw out some of those Molotovs. You know that they have been waiting to catch up to Alpha 7. They're Brazilian brothers, and they take out DX Xavier.
I feel like this is Team Liquid's game to lose now, with TJB sort of on the ropes, not being able to hold all the angles they'd like. Fragments of teams spread across the south here. It's Team Liquid who can carry this momentum forwards. They just need to keep everyone alive, play for one another, and get rid of Alliance. That's their major barrier right now.
Let's see if they can do it. See if they can do it, because you have TJB for those compounds just staring at this area, and that's exactly what they need to do. They need to shoot at anything that moves. Just play keep away at this point. Meanwhile, you got Besiktas coming on from down the hill, gonna start climbing their way up little by little. That compound is very susceptible to pushes here. So TJB, even though they do have the dominant position, I'm gonna give the edge to these teams playing the hills, to be honest.
Ooh, Team Liquid actually shrinking down from their position and moving along the west.
That is smart.
Using that terrain, sweep through. Stoned first to face. He's going to have to reposition, but it's not going to work out. Besiktas able to finally put the nail in the coffin. And that gives away Besiktas' position further through. Team Liquid sweeping, I think, is one of the best decisions that they could have made. Although, it does get rid of a lot of off-angle threats with TJB's central hold. The question is, what can Team Liquid do with the outer position?
Yeah, Team Liquid's trying to soak up some eliminations here, and that's what I was talking about, is that compound is basically in a bowl. So all these surrounding areas, and you can even see Alliance so close, but has plenty of coverage. Let's see if he's going to be able to get some shots onto Team Liquid. Honestly, Team Liquid's looking very, very strong. Even though they only have 2 eliminations so far, I think they're going to get a whole bunch more.
See if they're able to keep this one going. Tiamba, remember, they had a great start to the match with the third-party rotate. And they're still alive as well with their solo representative. Leon up close now against Seoul from Alola XIHC. Only 2 limbs for them. And a low HP close to him. There's only 3 players here. 1v3s are doable. The heal doesn't come through. And the SK-12 is doing a lot of work, but it's not going to be enough to do the heavy lifting for them. It was going to be a little bit of an outside chance there, but they go down. 2 eliminations on the match in 6th place.
Oh, that was so close. If he was able to get that shot, who knows what could have happened, but Alliance shut that down, and they shut it down well. 8 eliminations so far. They are doing great here at this one, and now we're down to our final 4 teams here for match number 1 on day 2.
And the shift finally goes away from TJB. They're on the outside. Oh, Shan's so close. Solo player right on the money.
That's one.
Takes him out. First player down. 1v2 now as Leon's. Are they looking for him? Do they know he's on the tree? It seems like they do. They just need to isolate these angles. The cook is there. Pluck not going to be able to take the peek. He's forced out. He's forced wide, but no damage. There is a response. The knock goes through the back lines. He finds one. Shan with a 1 versus 3 for Tiamba. They do not stop. It's 11 eliminations. And the solo warrior himself here to play. A knock over towards Team Liquid. Might be able to find the knock. The flush is there. Cardozen seals the deal as TJB tried to stretch out, but it's not out of the question for Shan to make it happen again.
Are you kidding me? Sean's got those nades locked and loaded, and TJB is feeling the punishment. Chief gets naded down to about 20% HP, and it's really up to Ayala to finish off Tiamba here as fast as he possibly can. Sean, all by his lonesome. Can he make something happen? He cannot. It's going to be Team Liquid to win right off the bat. They come in from Group Yellow, and I'm sorry, Group Green, and shut things down.
Well, what a way to carry on for Tiamba, right? Shan is a Terminator. This is the second time we've seen them do this, right? Come in, not win the game, but kind of steal the show. An excellent rotate out from Cow on the northern side to third-party that bridge engagement, slurp up a load of those points, dominating on that northeastern side and coming on through with a strong performance to open things up. But Team Liquid played their position really well. That sweep down on the western edge really played out in their favor.
Oh, it's beautifully done right there. I mean, Tiamba, after this one, we know they're going to top the leaderboards. I mean, they straight crushed it. And Deep Laskia, they didn't get that circle that they did yesterday. And what do you know, right? 0 points on the leaderboards. But man, a 1v3 to start off day 2? Let's go!
Shan with the magic in his fingertips right now. He is having a good day today. We'll see if they're able to keep this one going. Team Liquid as well, though. They have got a lot going for them. That decision-making was there. The position, obviously, they had a pretty solid position to start with that circle. They were slap bang in the middle. They regrouped at the right time. They kept themselves as 4 for as long as possible. It looked a little bit scary in that fight with TJB. If TJB had gotten another knock, Shan had that in the back.
That's right.
100%.
That's right.
100%. Well, but still, look at this. I mean, what a crazy way to finish this one out. Able to get that first knock and then win that 1v2 when he was behind a single tree. That's all he had to play with.
That's it. And he was able to get it done right there for Tiamba. Now, the big thing is that you're talking about scary, and I think if you're in Group Red, you should be scared because Team Liquid, right, coming from Group Green, just straight crushed it.
Absolutely. This is a great way to make a statement at the start of the day, right? And it's the same thing that D plus Kia did at the start of yesterday. Right. Coming in with a good game number 1. 10 eliminations in first place they were able to get on that Sandhawk.
Oh my goodness, what's going to happen at the end of this day? Because you got Tiamba just straight crushing it. Sean with the 1v3, guys. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
As the heat rises, dandruff and grease won't stand a chance. With new Clear Men, powered by triple formula technology. To eliminate dandruff, itch, and grease, gives you 8 hours of freshness and 100% dandruff-free hair. New Clear Men, 0% dandruff, 100% confidence.
Team Liquid have started things off with a splash. The team from Brazil taking PMSL Americas have started off their event with a chicken dinner, and it looked pretty damn good as well. I know, Kalaris, you're a big fan of the team, saying they're definitely a team who can contest for the title, potentially take it. And that's the start that you were hoping for.
We were saying at the start of the day, right? Like, it's all about the timing and precision. Like 4 Brazilian luchadors able to jump from the top rope using precision to strike at their enemies with a 5-star frog splash. It is going to be Team Liquid. 17 points. It's not the highest elim game from them, but they play for the victory. They know exactly what they want. It's in the palm of their hand.
They're playing for the belt, man, or trophy in this case here. 17 points. As Tiamba as well, coming in with 17 at the very end. Was it Shan who was able to pick up a ton of eliminations towards the end and survive a 1v2 against Alliance that honestly we had to ask the Indo talent what's going on. It was a 1v3. Oh, it was a 1v3. They got Julio knocked with the nade initially.
1v3 there for Sean with those nades. I mean, once again, I'm sorry, Boom, but you're going to have to take notes here from that player because those nades were beautiful out of him. TJB's Esports, though, being able to get those 13 points. That team, I felt like they definitely got a little bit blessed. They were in a compound for quite a long time, but they were able to be proactive. But going back to Team Liquid, I was really impressed with what they were able to do, and I'm happy that they're able to start an international event with a chicken dinner. And going here towards the second page, Team Falcons, they ended up getting third party by 4MB, but it's good to see that they were still able to collect some elimination points.
I do like that you've just downloaded us on broadcast as well, Jason. We turned to the Indo talent and said, what's going on? Didn't we also do that yesterday with Boom? Every time one of their teams has a mishap, we're just like, Indo talent, what's happening? What's going on here?
I mean, to be honest, the perfect answer back is, oh, hey, Jason, where's all the NA teams?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah.
We have players that played in NA.
I mean, we do. But I do want to point something out, as you did mention with Falcons, something that's really interesting is that East is now on Team Falcons, who was previously on 4MB, and after that was on Stronger, playing in PMSL CSA. But now he's playing with Falcons, and he was actually playing in this match over Nerzed. And I'm kind of curious, why are we seeing him in so quickly when Falcons were already looking pretty good in PMSL?
It's a good question. I wonder if it's a Sandhog thing. I'm not sure. Like, okay, so a different battleground. Maybe they want to actually switch from battleground to battleground. Who knows? However, I mean, on Sandhog here, right? The opportunity for third parties are just aplenty, and unfortunately they will fall via a third party here. Unfortunately, he couldn't really do much, but it is a good question. I mean, we'll have to see how it develops, Jason, if he's playing for the rest of the day.
Besides that third party, I mean, the fight that they were having against Reject was a great fight. They were able to execute it really well, but that third party, it comes down to Sandhog. We always talk about it with Sandhog. You got to make sure you finish up those fights quickly.
Well, there was some revenge coming in later on because 4MV got in a fight against Mad Bulls. Yep. And then we had DXavier actually third party that fight and take out those
those teams, which, to be fair, for Mad Bull, it's kind of interesting to see that they're able to do the super swing, the super wide rotate around the zone, realizing the direction it was going. But that leads me to go into our next topic of, well, D+, this is their last day of games, playing on the Northwest Island yesterday in the Sandhawk win. The zone went to them. This time they had to play from the outside, and it wasn't too successful.
I mean, we've been talking about them. Did they end up getting blessed yesterday? Or was it just a fluke because of the circles that they ended up getting? We can't really say that after just one match, especially after Sandhawk, but something to do tell. They had to rotate. They rotated very, very late. They ended up running into Talon Esports, and Talon Esports went on a chase after them. Even whenever they decided to rotate southeast for D+, Talon was like, we're just going to keep chasing you guys. So for what I want to see out of D+, if they do end up not getting blitzed by the circle like they did yesterday, I want to see a little bit quicker rotations.
You're right. Sandhawk, it's hard to judge from it, right? It is the most arduous map to transition on across when you are against the circle as opposed to having it go your way. So Erangel and Miramar will tell us a bit of a tale, maybe. Jason, we'll see.
Well, what about Alula LHC? A reigning PMGC, a reigning world champions. And I know, Clark, you were saying that you weren't really too happy with the split they had and the compound they were in, kind of like towards the east side of where TJB were set up.
Yeah.
Because they just got overrun, and they should have held that, in your opinion.
So it was Siamba that eventually breached on towards them from the east side, as we take a look at the Team Liquid stats coming in. But Alula IHC, holding that compound down as 4 is very difficult. It's an extremely hard compound to hold. It's not just one road in some scenarios that you have to traverse across to be able to reinforce your team. It's sometimes 2 roads because of the way the compound works out. A few buildings on the west side, one in the middle on that kind of fork, and then some buildings on the east side as well. Tiamba picked exactly the right compound to breach because they were using a lot of information gathering on that east side to identify exactly where the weak spots were. And unfortunately, Alula IHC fell victim to it.
Talking about, we got a chance to see there some of the stats from Team Liquid as we're going to be looking at Sean. This was the star play. Him by himself, 637 damage, and we got a chance to see what Team Liquid, the team that won, they ended up with 700 damage, which it's not the likes of Brazil team that we usually like to see, and we usually tend to see a lot more damage.
And this shows the importance of holding utility to the late game. If Shan has only his guns, to be able to make that 1v3 happen, it doesn't happen. Because he had nades to be able to start the ball rolling, being able to kind of pivot around, get a few knocks here and there with those nades to start things off, that's why it's so important in the late game. So being able to make that 1v3 happen, nades, absolutely pivotal.
It's something that I wanted to mention there on Team Liquid, because we got the Sean graphic, is it's a very big contrast from that team, because they were willing to back away from fights. They weren't even taking shots at them. They were just focusing on how to get inside that circle. So a big difference out of the Brazilian team.
Yeah, big difference indeed, but we're going to see how things will continue to progress on later on today. But for you guys who are watching, you might have noticed the players using a very sick skin. The Violet Thunder set and S12K are now out for you guys to pick up as well, and incorporates aspects of the PMWC trophy, which you actually see on the back of them. You see the little W in there. But you know what, speaking of W's, we're going to head back to our casters and kick off our second match of the day. It's going to be our first Erangel of the day. So Hot Jukes and John Allen, take it away.
Big W. Big W's, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And a big W from Team Liquid coming in today for Group Green. And remember, folks, we have a squad, an entire group sitting out here. So do not believe the leaderboards, right, for a second, because tomorrow is going to be absolute chaos. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the struggling squads here, because that's who we're really keeping our eyes on. You know, one of them is Brute Force, right? Brute Force struggled yesterday, and they start off this one with a bad goose egg. But now we are headed into Erangel. Let's get it going.
Absolutely. With dual gaming chipsets and 144Hz AMOLED screens, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is also the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performance and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC. Let's get Erangel underway for the first time for Group Green, and for the last set of Erangels for Group Red.
That's right. That's right. It's just this one and 2 more, and Group Red are done. And you do not want to go out like this. I mean, there's nothing worse as a PUBG Mobile competitive player than having to sit out a day and just watch your lead. just go away in an instant. Or actually, no, not even an instant. Just little by little by little. So if you're a team right now that is in that mid-pack of the leaderboard right now, you got to get it going. You got to get it going because tomorrow they're coming for that slot.
Absolutely. They need to pick the pace up. It all matters here. It's really short sets of games in these group stages, in these survival stages, and there is a lot of money still on the line for the early part of things. Plane path on the south side from Pubg down to Primorsk. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a difficult path, potentially up towards George. And it's not even going to go out there. Hard northeast shift on the circle here. Keeps a lot of those Yaz fields in, and Stalber as well.
Kameshki's in play, baby.
Hell yeah.
Kameshki is in play. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody send me your energy. I have not seen a Kameshki finish in years, so that'd be awesome. But, I think a lot of teams are going to be kind of heading for those Yasnaya fields. A lot of zones like to end up in that area there, so we'll see what happens. Team Liquid are in a great spot near Lipovka. You've got, of course, Talon taking up Yasnaya, but you got squads like Vampire, right, all the way near Primorsk. They have a big journey ahead of them.
Speaking of teams that didn't do so great, right? Vampire in that first match, their approach, I felt like it kind of just didn't have any wind in its sails to start with. It was a lot of grouped up teams, to be fair, and that's kind of what I was talking about with the linearized approach to the west side of that circle that you had to take, is a lot of teams are also going to be packed in behind you, so when you're taking that approach, it's going to be pretty tricky to navigate. Vampire definitely felt that. They didn't have their back clear. It was Besiktas Black who were able to take them down on it.
Yeah, Vampire to me, they just look like a team that's coming in for the first day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
Not a overwhelming performance, just a little bit of synergy issues here, some little slight mistakes. And at this stage, especially we have an entire group that has already played, they're hot, they're ready to go. Any little slip-ups, you are going to get taken out. So yeah, Vampire need to definitely step it up here. We heard Sertani, or you talked to him, and he said what? They were looking for at least top 8, right?
Yeah, in the finals, that is, not for the group stage.
Okay.
In general, top 8 is kind of where they would be happy with as a result at the end of this tournament, and I think that's kind of what they're focusing on. They're focusing on creating that foundation to be a Titanic international team, right? That's kind of what matters, and hopefully we'll see that start to emerge here. And you can never judge a team coming into a tournament off one game.
That's true.
But I think in that last match there was a pretty clear lack of attention given to their back.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially considering that, they are our last year's mid-season champions, so a lot of expectations are going to be on them. And, of course, we're going to be scrutinizing the teams that we have high expectations for. And, Vampire is definitely one of those squads. So it's one thing, right, to win a championship. It's another to defend it,
That is true. That is true. You've got to... Yeah, all sorts of logistical problems.
They got to get that back-to-back. That back-to-back. And
they did it once.
They did it once. That's right. That is right. So let's see if they can do it once again. Now I'm looking at the circle here. We see teams, I think, very, very comfortable with it because there is that northern island still available, and there's a lot of different routes that these teams can take to make it to safety. But at this point, I think a lot of these squads are a little bit slow on the rotate. Meanwhile, Team Reject trying to take out Tiamba. Oh, Reggie getting caught.
Oh, dear. And again, Tiamba with an early opener. This is a team that's starting to turn heads, right? I don't think many people would have put Tiamba as a top team in terms of like predictions coming into things, which, I mean, to be fair, they did win PEL, so it's reasonable that they are performing as well as they are right now. But I feel like a lot more attention was being given to the Falcons, to the Alpha 7s of the world, and to Team Liquid. But Tiamba reminding us just why they are such a big name in the international scene as well.
That's how you do it right there. I mean, they crushed it in game number 1 today. They did a great job yesterday, and already starting off with an elimination. 69 points right now on that leaderboard. Nice. I mean, these guys are not messing around. Now, teams like, D plus Kia, they need to have a good bounce back game here because this is their last day they're going to be playing, at least in this stage. Alliance starting to take some shots downrange. Looks like they got a nice knock near Potato Hill. And they are, just setting up nice and pretty, and that is going to be Harami Bro. They're going to lose a player.
Yeah, to Alliance as well, which is going to slow them down on that southwest side, playing around that Potato Hill position. Losing a player, again, this is their first day as well. Harami Bro did not have, I believe, a great first map. They didn't get any point. Well, the opposite of great, I think, is the worst possible result. First map, getting 0 points. And it looks like they're not off to another great start either. I'm a little bit worried about this team. I mean, they came through, I think they were champions from SCA, right? And it's just not happening for them so far at the start of these first 2 matches. And you can't let many more get away from you if you want to be in those top 12 moving into the finals directly. Maybe see them in the survival stage. Over to the circle we go as Talon moved into Yasnaya early. They've been in there for quite a while now, and they're starting to have neighbors move in. It's going to be pretty difficult to isolate these positions. Yas Fields being a big factor here, with D plus Kia taking up a really strong compound on the west side of those Yas Fields. The east side currently being dominated by Team Liquid, although it looks like they might want a little bit of a scrap with Besiktas up north.
Okay, meanwhile, speaking of scrap, we're looking at Mad Bulls taking on some shots under Harami Bro. Harami Bro down to 3 players. You can see them late to the party here, and they're just trying to find a spot. Looks like they're going to commit to Alliance, though. And Leon is now, it looked like he thought he was going to go into that dip, but instead, turning at the last second. They're going to give it up to Harami Bro.
All right, okay. It looks like Harami Bro are starting to take things back into their own control. 2 eliminations now on the board for the one that they had taken away from them, and 2 players from Alliance have gone down as well in the midst of this scrap. Mad Bulls have yet to find these pickoffs, and they will continue to just trudge up north for Harami Bro. They're 3 players alive.
Yeah, Harami Bro taking a place we like to call OP dip, right? And it is a pretty good, strong spot. The problem is you have to commit to it when the zone is in this area, right? They lost a lot of resources there. Their vehicles are smoking out, and the zone could still go all the way north. So very interesting for them to hard commit here. They did get 2 eliminations in the process, so definitely take that to the bank. And I think they are getting a little bit antsy considering that they lost 1 and had a bad game 1. So sometimes you got to take some risks, and this time it paid off, at least for now.
Absolutely. We'll have to wait and see where this next circle goes. Vampire now moving past Pachinki. A little bit slow to get in, but another Eastern shift keeps Pubg in it. Sorry, Jukes.
All right,
again, Kameshki. Not this time around. We've got 2 more chances, though. 2 more rolls of those dice, so we'll see how that goes. Vampire on the southwest side, close to 4MV, who dropped in military base. They've been moving up for quite a while now, and they're going to be trying to punch in on that western edge around Potato Hill. They'll try and navigate this treacherous terrain and push in near DXavia, south of D plus Kia, who are leaving their really strong compound on the west side of Yas Fields. Probably rightly so. You don't want to be locked into going for a full rotate straight across Yas Fields when a lot of those teams on the south are going to start to post up.
Yeah, you can see a Vampire trying to find a good spot here. They're getting shot at. For Miracle doing exactly what they're supposed to over here by Potato Hill. Just if you see anybody get close, just play keep away. And Vampire are definitely going to do exactly that. They're going to be just still hunting down a spot. Actually, I think they might just hold up this edge here. Yeah, just kind of hold it down for now and figure out where this next zone is going to go. So they're going to stick it in that compound for now. Meanwhile, looking up north, Team Falcons are starting to make their way down into the fray near Yasnaya. Yeah. This was actually a very fortunate zone shift, by the way, for Brute Force over there in the Milta. If they would have went north, they would have been in big trouble. So yeah. I'm going to say it. Honestly, I think if Brute Force does bad this game, we might not see them here, or we might see them in the survival stage.
Yeah, it might have to be. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case. A knock sent over towards DXavia. I'm not entirely sure who was able to pick that one up. And it was a flush as well, leaving them a little bit the worse for wear. 3 players alive, and actually a lot of damage being sent their way. Tianba, I mean, of course it. Who else is it going to be? Tianba taking the fight. Bulls as well. Is that DXavia just getting picked apart slowly?
Little by little.
At range.
They're down to 1.
They tried to send in to the middle. Didn't work.
Yeah, this late of a rotation is just not where it's at. I mean, there's still 16 teams remaining. You got to know that if you're late to this circle, you got to just play edge because everything in the middle is already taken.
Unless you're solo and sort of going for a last-ditch attempt kind of player, right?
But it's still too early. It's only stage 2.
You're right, absolutely. Yeah. It is definitely a little bit, let's call it interesting, of a decision for DXavier to make that one go for them. They do still have one player alive. They're not out of it just yet. And we've seen what a solo player can do in Jean, but those performances are few and far between. Tianba holding down in a pretty central position now.
Yes, they are. And yeah, DXavier, they started the day in 3rd place, right? In 3rd place. So they had a great day, number 1. And now we're starting to see them fall little by little here. Another rough performance here in game number 2. At least it was looking like, let's see what Lamborghini could do. This zone does not help them out. That is for sure. And what did I say, right? Yasnaya Fields, it looks like that is where this could end up. And it's very fortunate for Talent to be in the position they're in right now. But, you know, teams on the southern edge, I'm looking at you, Brute Force, right? You're going to have to fight your way into this one.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tricky here. Mad Bulls in a really strong ridge line, but the difficulty is defending it from that south side. They're going to have their wits about them. DXavier losing. Did they get a res there? I don't know, but oh no, this is a replay. Okay, yeah. I was caught completely off guard. I was looking at the map feed there, but yeah, that's how DXavier lost a lot of their players. Moving on up north, Mad Bulls now in a position to try and defend their south side ridge of Yas Fields. Could be pretty profitable if they're able to hold on to it.
And let's see right now for Miracle Vibes, getting some nice knocks. They're going to be putting in some work here.
Western Edge.
Yes, they are.
Third party from D plus Kia coming in from the south side of it, though, as they try and rotate back on up. This is Alulex IHC. D plus Kia now wading into the fray, but Olbu actually taken down, says, hold on a minute, we're busy. Shuts the door for them. And 4MV trying to take this fight. It's not going well really for anyone in this compound as the spray goes around the side and Godless wins it out for Alulex IHC, but now D plus Kia can get this res, can turn their attention further on in. Yasfield's a major feature and getting any control over it would be great. That position on the west edge, pretty isolated, but could be Sanctuary.
Yeah, D plus Kia can definitely afford to take this fight. I mean, they have plenty of points from yesterday here. Oh, look at all the nades coming out from this way. Oh, you also got Brute Force here on the edge. So D plus Kia, if you're going to take this fight, you better commit to it pretty quickly.
They need to try and make this one work. Only a couple of players to defend off against it. Olbu does get res, but Osal immediately traded out. And that's Brute Force swimming on in. And that is going to be a nasty knock for them. That is their backstop as well. Prepod out in the blue zone, still taking shots. D plus Kia allowing Alulex IHC to move in, but Team Liquid have moved in on this north side. They've rotated past Yasnaya, and they are now a massive presence on this west edge. Another really smart rotation from Team Liquid.
Beautiful play right now, and honestly, we're seeing indecision from D plus Kia. They are late to this fight. Instead, trying to hold off a little bit longer. They got punished from the back by Brute Force. Now they're starting to just force their way in because they have no choice. Let's see if Kay can get this knock up close. Oh, and they do end up getting one. We're starting to see some jump outs. Let's see what Godless can do on the outside. He has that UMP. Going up against Chips. Chips now stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's holding those stairs for dear life. And meanwhile, looks like Brute Force up on top of the hill trying to make something happen. And Team Liquid are just very satisfied with where they're at.
They're throwing out the mud, slowing the steps of all of these opposing players. Brute Force, this is a good start for it, right? They need to convert here. 3 eliminations, a sweep potential on the west, but with the hard shift out east on the circle, this again makes their path hard. Chips low, but not out of it just yet. 2 first aids, and looks like he's going to be able to get this one off. Prepod close and personal. Dangerous, given there's 2 players from Alulex IHC here. Prepod could get knocked to flush very, very quickly, but behind the wall, he's got cover and backup. Team Liquid, again, this is that rotation I was talking about. They move past Yasnaya, and they have the top spot.
The zone is shifted. These teams need to either fight, full send it on in, or get moving. They have no more time to spare here. There is just seconds now on the clock. 19, as a matter of fact, before the zone starts closing. D plus Kia, gone. Brute Force need to just full send it on in. They have no choice.
Big nade, but doesn't quite connect in the the way that you want it to. Chip's still going on in. The nade's not quite tagging him up. He's in that little side room there. A nade from Neos does find it. Finally, D plus Kia fully eliminated. Now Brute Force have the ground floor under control, but Alola XIHC still 2 players going. Only 3 to deal with, so it's potential they can make this one work, but they aren't going to be able to step out in time. They try and send. Godless does a lot of damage, but doesn't find it. There's a knock from Demo on the inside, but it's shut down by Prepod. Zone 4, they need to get away with this.
I don't even know if he's going to be able to get this first aid off. This is going to start chunking them down little by little here. They overcommitted to this fight. And yeah, Team Liquid had to make a decision. Either go into zone or gatekeep, get the easy eliminations. And it looks like that's exactly what they decided to do.
Team Liquid, again, another heads-up play. They move out in front of this fight. They know they're going to have to cross Yaz Fields. They do not want anyone behind them. They sweep this one through. Mad Bull's now their next barrier as Prepod is moving out into the firing line. Team Liquid might just have to go across this Yaz Fields position, use some of that terrain cover to the south, and hit up that Falcons outpost on the south.
Oh boy, well things are starting to heat up here as we're going to have, looks like a finish right by Yasnaya and just north of Mansion. Team Liquid, yeah, with all the room in the world. Well, actually not really, because look at that, you got Icy applying that pressure and popping out Mythic out the vehicle. Beautifully done.
Oh,
they're in trouble.
They hit the vehicle, they hit a snag, and another knock goes to Icy. They go too far north, and these buildings, they knew they were in the zone, and likely there's a team in there. I'm not sure about that one. It felt like everything they'd done up until that point was good. They just needed to turn their noses a little bit south, go for that Falcons outpost. I guess they didn't have the scouting to go for it fully confidently, and try to make it work.
They didn't scout at all. They just full sent it blind.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not sure about that. Not liking it from Team Liquid, which is not what I thought I'd be saying.
Yeah, Prepod had the right idea, actually. He's going up north. Yes, he has that coverage from those buildings to be able to get in that zone. I think Team Liquid, just after game number 1, maybe just got a little bit too greedy there and just was hoping that the spot would be open. And again, guys, this is the World Cup. You know, if you make one small, mistake, you're going to get punished for it. And Icy did it all by himself.
That is really quite nasty. I mean, there's a reason Falcons are certainly at the forefront of people's minds. Tiamba still in it with 4. They're right on the south side now, obviously trying to convert off their previous match's performance, moving up now into Reject territory. I want a little bit more from Reject today. I feel like they've got it in the bag, but this is their main challenge now. Tiamba on their south side, trying to hold off against them.
Yeah, they got to hold off the entirety of Group Yellow.
It's such a strong compound that Reject have, but they're not holding the south branch of it.
Yeah, they are in a very, very good position here, but they just got to clear their backs at this point. And the hard part is when you're in a strong compound at this edge like this, you tend to want to just commit to it. But at some point, you got to give it up and try maybe centering up a little bit further. But they're in a really, really tough spot because Tiamba is right behind them. They're going to have to make a decision, though. Meanwhile, you got QZ, wow, making some great shots from downrange. Mad Bulls, they are completely stuck on the open here.
They've been slow on this transition from the Mad Bulls position previously, and everybody else has got ahead of them. Tiamba allowed into the south point of that Heaven compound is really good news for them. Reject with 3, most likely felt they couldn't hold off both the north and the south side, so they allow someone in, but Besiktas, maybe they're trying to change things up.
Nice shots out the vehicle here. Team Reject are in big trouble, getting pieced off little by little. We just got Sara and Duello now. Last 2 players. Oh, Besiktas! They're down to just 1.
Kukali. Last player, laid in.
Here they come. Tiamba on the push is huge. Duello goes down, and it's just Sara left. But Besiktas Black explode. Tiamba soaking up some points, and Sara decided to take himself out and deny it.
Besiktas going down, so do Reject. That is nasty stuff. Not many points earned for them either. 4 eliminations now for Tiamba. They'll get this res, and they've got one of the strongest compounds on this south side. Moving up towards the north, their main barrier right now is going to be Harame, bro. You've also got TJB on a wide split north to south of this road, and I think that could be, again, a very big barrier to them moving on up. Mad Bull's finally gotten rid of. I kind of counted them out already, so I'm not too surprised about that.
Yeah, they tried their best with those smoke walls, but Tianba shut him down. And Tianba again, QZZ with 4 eliminations already, and the legendary Sean. I mean, what a play this man made yesterday. Wow, he's actually kind of, I think he was laying down on that window seal. That was a pretty interesting play. But meanwhile, that's Team Liquid out of there. And that spot is so difficult to hold. There's so many sight lines that you can get punished from. But Team Falcons decide to take it. We can see Talon punish them for that. Let's see if they're going to be able to, though.
But right now, my mind is kind of entirely focused on Tianba. 6 eliminations already.
Crazy.
With 20 players still left alive, they could be on for another corker of a game. On that south side, they're flexing out. They're moving QZ and Bond as well out to that western side with those outposts. Excellent movement. TJB trying to use their split on this northern side. These two teams going to be going at it. What is this, though, from XC? He's moving up north. And he's going to go straight on in Nation. Is found as well by Falcons. And they are just playing on every single front right now.
Tianba needs to be careful here. They cannot buy it off more than they can chew. Yeah, they have that confidence. Their momentum's at an all-time high, but they can't be splitting against 2 different teams. But, oh, look at that. Angles against Harami, bro. Tianba.
They're fighting 3 teams right now.
This is insane. XC is applying so much pressure through the smoke, and that's what you got to do. Just shoot through it. Hopefully get some hit markers. 7 eliminations. This team's looking almost unstoppable here at this point.
They're fighting Falcons. They're fighting Harami, bro. They're fighting TJB on the outpost on the northeast side. Is there anything that these guys won't take on? It is absolutely incredible to see this pace pick up at the start of the day. Nades over, and this is a crunch being put on Harame Bro right now.
Tianba's committing a lot of resources here to these last 2 players. They should just kind of run up and take him out. Harame Bro, yeah, Nades, they smoked themselves out, completely eliminated their own sight lines, and that's going to make these difficult. But now, Tianba's going to have to go against Team Falcons. Can they hold on?
Falcons only on 3, though, and there is still that backstop in Sean. When all else fails, just give it a Sean, give him a crack at it. I'm sure he'll be able to do something. Certainly saw that in the last match, and Falcons trying to swirl around, trying to find an opening in Tianba's presence. But given that they just took down the players in the middle, Harami, bro, it's not going to be as easy as that. That looks good. Icy doesn't quite go down to it, though.
How did he survive that? That is crazy. He ate that nade and spit it out. So Icy's still up here, but he is down to low HP. QZZ's on fire. 7 eliminations in this one, all by himself.
Sean soloing a TJB team, by the way.
Unreal.
In the midst of it all.
Unreal. And Talent Esports are just very happy just to be here right now. They are just holding the spot, not trying to get too active just yet. Now we just see one of their players start to move up, so that'll work out for them. But TJB as well, they need to start getting into this fight. Oh, another big nade. Tianba just punishing the Falcons here.
There is a knock being sent back, I think, over towards backlines for Tianba. XC on the high ground, you can see, but the nades just take him down. And Tianba can move through another set of death crates, resupply, and it might not come back to bite them. Finally, what should have happened a while ago happens to Shan, and he does get flushed out. Leaves Tianba on 3, needing a res, so potentially even 2 if they can't get to it, and another shot goes through. This felt like it was a long time coming, but they've already got the value. 14 eliminations and a 4th place guaranteed. This is a team that's already made the money.
Yeah, they did. We're going to see them in the finals already, just with these performances alone. So yeah, I mean, you can commit to try and get that chicken dinner or a ton of eliminations, and with how valuable elimination points are, 14, I'll take that all day long. And QZZ wants 1 more, and he might just get it here. Let's see if they're going to be able to get that res. Oh, it's going to be close.
GK First is moving up on the flank, and I feel like, yeah, QZ has heard this. He's figured something out now, knows that there's a threat from this south side. Unlikely that Yoro pushes into this one. They know that TJB have sightlines over to this area, so going up and trying to flush a solo can be a big, big risk for trying to trade this presence, which means that QZ fights with his back to the wall against the encroaching forces of TJB, and Nate from Lamborghini finds Flower on this off angle, and just more and more is going the way of QZ right now.
Oh my gosh, QZZ is just an absolute beast, but he gets taken out there. Finally, 14 eliminations from Tianba's going to be enough, though. We got 3 teams remaining. D. Xavier, the Snake, holding on for a little bit longer. It's Lamborghini, all by his lonesome.
Full pacifist run, 0 eliminations. I'm ready.
He said, I'll take that all day. I am very happy near this tall grass and this dossier. Just don't mind me, folks. Don't mind me.
I'm just looking at bugs. I'm an entomologist. You know, I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's a fun word. Yeah, getting in amongst the ferns right now, trying to stay there as well.
Right there.
Oh, nasty. Tags on. They know he's there now.
Actually, they don't. Yeah, because those nades don't give those indicators. So unless they heard him shimmy, they're going to know. At the same time, Lamborghini's got that pad out, just trying to be as sneaky as he possibly can. Nice little not blind nade from TJB, though.
Ooh, another one. Not quite on the mark.
Oh, no, now they have to know. Those
bullets are hitting the ground right at his feet right now, his ankles.
That's it. Okay.
Going through.
There you go. Two teams remaining. It's Talon versus TJB. And both these teams playing it very, very quietly here. Very passive. 4 eliminations so far from Talon, 2 from TJB. Both have 3 players up. It's anyone's game.
Swinging on through this ridge line. Peaks in the middle of this one as well. 2 teams from the newly minted Group Green trying to make their mark on their first day of play. Yoru, front man right now. They were able to move through and take down QZ because of that nade that went on in and slowed TJB's off angles, but a great opener for them, for TJB.
Flower starting this off good, and we saw TJB just kind of send out a scout, try to get some information. He got caught out, so now it's going to be a 3v2 for sure. There's no way they're going to be able to pick him up now. So Talon now on the back foot, and if a fight like this, it's all about that first knock. So if Talon want to win this, Axel and Linux are going to have to make something magical happen.
They are outside of the circle, needing to move forwards. GK first now in the buggy. 2v3. If Yoru can crawl back, they might find this res. The nade from Linux. Gonna isolate some ground. But there's the shot. Axel on the off angle, playing around the smoke, finds the first knock. This is the opening now for for Talon to look to come back into this one. Axel is in this next zone, but GK first is so quick for this res.
No way. Yoru with the miracle crawl. He's gonna get picked back up. TJB playing that one a little bit passive, getting that. Oh, look at Axel from this off angle.
Shimmy.
Oh, TJB's in big trouble. Axel, when is he going to pull that trigger? There it is. That's one.
In for the shot. And he goes for the flush. A really good pickup with Yoru getting res. There's now that threat that crunches on. Linux into the buggy. Axel's on the off angle. Linux draws fire. Only S around the sidelines. Rolls over with the buggy. There's the shot. And it is GK first to hold his nerve. 2 players from TJB. And another knock found. They're bringing it back under control. But it's Axel still to handle. Only S with the smoke. To play around, he doesn't quite get the knock, doesn't quite get it, but it's going to be that off angle, finding those shots, and finally TJB put it to bed.
What a game. That was so close, but TJB, I think they lucked out on that one. I think Talon could have definitely made it happen there, but wow, back and forth, great game from both these squads, but at the end of the day, the big name we're also looking at, I mean, it's got to be Tianto, right?
Oh, for sure. They got so many eliminations there. I think it was maybe up to 15 at the end, 14 or 15, and the 4th place as well. That's a chunk of placement points to add to the tally. Tianba are absolutely here to play. It is great stuff to see. It felt like they got a little bit silly with it, though, in that match. They were like, we're not losing. Let's just fight everyone.
Everyone, right? It's us versus this entire lobby at the end of the day, and they definitely did well. But you know what? I got to give a big shout out to these top 2 teams here towards the end. You know, TJB, again, coming in from Group Green. You know, they didn't have that warm-up that we saw from Group Red. Did a great job here in this one, and that's what they need to do, because at the end of the day, top 12 is the minimum goal, right?
For sure. That is what you need to be hitting to get to those finals. Sure, the money's good when you get higher up the tables, but getting to finals, that's even more money, right? And you're guaranteed, I think if you get directly into finals, I think it's 54K in 12th place, something around that sort of mark. Yeah, 54K in 12th place. So if you're able to make that, you're going to be happy. It goes up about 25 grand towards the top end, which means that obviously that's nice, but it's not the end of the world because you're guaranteed 25k just for getting to those finals.
Yeah, you want to be able to just perform your best. Again, folks, $1 million going out tomorrow. So that is absolutely insane. What a performance, though, again, from Tianba. You guys over there in the cube, right? I want to see some QZZ player stats because, man, he went absolutely crazy. But that's it for game number 2, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.